from 806 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Ben from West Texas.
Ben from West Texas. What's on your mind, Ben?
Hey, I wasn't sure if any of you guys saw the big controversy from yesterday on the Daily Wire type people's radar with this Kyle Kashuv kid having his admission to Harvard rescinded for his
let me just catch people up on this. He was one of the students involved in Parkland shooting. He came out of it and is conservative. He was basically saying that, was advocating no gun control in the wake of this. He was admitted to Harvard, and apparently in the past couple of days, it has been released, and I think with some help of Mike Cernovich and Jacob Wall, although it's unclear, photos of a WhatsApp chat or some other chat device from 2 years ago where he's using the N-word and spewing some racist bile, is my understanding. Here is an example of it. And he subsequently posted an apology that he sent to Harvard. I don't know if maybe an apology is not the right word, but he doesn't say the words "I'm sorry" in it. I can actually read it. You know what? Why don't you put this up? Because it's here it is. I have recently been made aware of screenshots circulating that include offensive comments former classmates and I made a few years ago, long before the shooting. I want to address this with honesty and transparency. We were 16-year-olds making idiotic comments, using callous and inflammatory language in an effort to be as extreme and shocking as possible. I'm embarrassed by it, but I want to be clear that the comments I made were not indicative of who I am or what I've become in the years since.
How many years could that have possibly been?
Well, 2 years. Exactly 2 years.
It was 2 years. Yeah.
The past year has forced me to mature and grow in an incredibly drastic way. My world, like everyone else's in Parkland, it was turned upside down on February 14th. When your classmates, your teachers, and your neighbors are killed, it transforms you as a human being. I see the world through different eyes and am embarrassed by the petty, flippant kid represented in those screenshots. I believe I've gotten those I've gotten to know since then and know that I'm a better person than that. I can and will do better moving forward. And then Harvard rescinded its admission to him. So everybody's caught up. What's your thoughts?
Oh, I was amused by the, I don't know, there seemed to be a big deal yesterday. A lot of people thinking this is a huge misstep from Harvard. A lot of people on the right, I should clarify, huge misstep from Harvard, and saying that it's, I think Michael Tracy had some thoughts on it as well, but he just was saying, not Michael Tracy, but just in general, that like the idea that you would hold high school kids accountable for something they said when they were 16, when they're applying for college, the idea that a college would hold over your head something you did when you were 16 during your high school career as a factor in your admission, I just thought that was a little silly, to say the least. And also, Ben Shapiro, I think at one point, he did a segment on it, and he was talking about how, these were silly things being said, and, what 16-year-olds do? They do this because they're dumb. 16-year-olds are dumb. And I would just like to make the point that there are a lot of dumb 16-year-olds, and a lot of those dumb 16-year-olds don't get into Harvard.
Right.
And, the way it works out.
Right. You're not guaranteed. That's the thing, is that you're not guaranteed a spot in Harvard. And had this guy put it on his application, hey, I said this stuff, he probably would have been rejected. My feeling is this. I frankly, if I thought this letter that he wrote them was better, I as an admissions person at Harvard, could see myself making the decision to let him in. because
I'm not-
because look, I mean, this is all subjective stuff, right? Where you admit a student, and frankly, like the fact that the words "I'm sorry" aren't written in that letter lead me to believe that this is not the guy. This guy does not have the emotional maturity or awareness of the implications of this thing in such a way. I mean, so I don't think this should automatically disqualify him, but I don't think that his I don't know if I would call it apology. His quick note on callous comments. The thing is, these are not callous comments. Callous comments are like, I don't care that kid fell down the stairs. He was a jerk, and I'm glad the guy is in a wheelchair. That's a callous comment. These comments are racist comments that were used. Maybe they were trying to be offensive, but the letter that the quick note that he sent apparently to Harvard, I don't know if he sent it to who he sent it to, but I imagine he sent it to Harvard, is not sufficient. And it's really basically based on that I would rescind the guy's application, because more information. I mean, look, here's the bottom line. You could get into Harvard, and if you skip the second half of your school year, they can say, you know what, you failed out. We're not going to let you in now. Or, hey, we found out that your essay was not accurate, or whatever it is. It's within their purview to do this. And I just think that his apology, to the extent that he even make an apology, I don't even know if he would characterize it.
It was not a contribution to public fora.
But he didn't even characterize it as an apology. No. On Twitter, he said, "Here's a quick note."
I really like the distinction, though. I agree with you 100%, because I don't want us to be like the no redemption scolds. So I'm always interested in what the second play is. Like, it's not like, oh, well, that thing happened and that's it. I don't want to have that position, but I agree with you. It's in what he wrote today, and it clearly was not. I don't buy it. If I buy it, it would be a different position. I agree with you completely.
I think he's being perfectly honest, but I think that, frankly, he doesn't get it.
Well, sure. Whatever way you want to say it. I just think that's a very valuable distinction to make, like in the whatever the second act is, and I don't think he gets it. I don't think, whatever way we want to frame it.
The
appreciate
minimum
the call.
Program that I would like to see there would be for him to acknowledge that his comments were racist.
Right. And he does.
Well, that's the starting point of any actual genuine response to this is, wow, that was obscenely racist.
Here is the kid went on to Fox News, apparently expecting a bit of a softball from host Ed Henry. And apparently Ed Henry was deciding that I might not be going to the company picnic this year. Here it is.
Harvard, for people who don't know, Harvard was founded in 1636 by slave owners. It has a long history of racism, sexism, misogyny. But I think that people can grow and people can change.
Right.
And I don't hold that standard to Harvard. And I think that people can make mistakes. And I don't think that mistakes make you irredeemable, as Harvard showed for me, as
Fair
Harvard
point.
established for me.
Can I give you a time out there? So you're mentioning that they had slave owners in the 1600s. Mm-hmm. You using the N-word was what? A year and a half ago? Do you
2
see
years
it?
ago.
2 years ago. A little more recent.
Okay.
Yeah. But nevertheless, I mean, I think his point is okay. But again, when I read his quick note, he doesn't call them. He didn't say that Harvard was callous back in the day. They had slave owners. No, he called them racist. And we had a racist society. Like, not to say that we don't now, but one that was far more, at least institutional, and a lot more full-throated. And he doesn't refer to his comments as racist in that note. And I think you get 1 second swing at the ball there, and you missed. So What is it? What is it that Tom Cruise says at the end of what's that damn movie? No, gosh, Risky Business.
I thought it was Jack Nicholson.
Illinois State. I think that's what he basically said at the. Oh, all right.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Grandpa just had his fun
Yeah.
time.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
Looks like Illinois State.
Can't believe talking about Risky Business.
I have seen
Dates
that
me like
movie.
It
don't
reminded me of
remember
the scene
anything
in
about it.
Risky Business.
Never you guys seen Risky Business?
And Tom
I have
Cruise
seen
was
it.
there.
Okay. You don't remember
Just-
when he said Illinois State?
I guess it didn't make a huge impression on me.
When the guy shows up at the house who's going to like give him the admissions interview to wherever it was, to some Ivy League school, and it looks like it's not working and he doesn't care. He's in the middle of the party and it's sort of like, all right.
Maybe I'll have to rewatch it.
Calling from a 5-0.